Americans taking the early lead from the Chinese, 28.387 to 28.149. We are currently looking at the French on the floor. The two groups, the top four and the bottom four, appear on separate pieces of apparatus. And having seen the Chinese and the United States on the vault, we now await the defending champions from Romania. When they look at their record from the qualifying competition, the Romanians will find that they were the best on 3 of the 4 pieces. Disappointing third score for France, who made a late change to their team, 27.449. Late change on that piece of apparatus.
Now participating on vault, halfway through rotation number 1, Romania.
So, the Romanians, who were consistent, as those statistics I gave you suggested, all the way through. And interestingly, not one of their gymnasts is going to appear on every piece of apparatus. The first to perform on the vault, Nicoletta Daniela Sofroni. Total they're aiming for with 3 scores is to better 28.387 from the United States.
Strong approach, good flight, but a little soft around the knees. The judges look for height and flight, but they also look for a good straight body. You see here her knees bent just a little bit, but it was well controlled, very clean. They have to stay within these 2 white lines on the mat, and she did that very confidently.
Qualifying competition, she scored 9.425. If she matches that, it will be a better opening score than either by China or by the United States. 9.4, so a touchdown, but still the best of the 3 team scores at the moment by the opening gymnast. Catalina Honor, who had a very, very good qualifying competition. Second to go now on the vault.
Oh, she did well in that vault. Plenty of power, longer body lines, a little bit more converting.
Top pieces were floor and beam.
Just a little bit loose-legged here. Flight day, see the knees bend, but she makes the double twist square in the corridor. Mark from 9.8 for this vault, and she'll lose a 1/10 or 2 for those legs.
Tavian Bellou, the coach, just walking by. 9.412. And the suggestions are that the Americans could have it unless the third member of the team can put out something special. Here she is, Monica Rossu, the best score at the moment on the vault, 9.562 by Anya Hatch.
And that was a very clean vault. Didn't use the flip approach. Half on onto the platform. She snapped through strongly, and double twist she added in there. There we are. Lifts up off the top. 2 twists. Tidier than the previous 2 gymnasts. This vault marked out of 9.9, tariffed a little bit higher. And she lands excellently.
And she needs the best score so far to take her team into the early lead in this first rotation. The Ukrainians are on the floor. And Rossu's score 9.625. So Romania lead 28.437 as opposed to 28.387. This is Kabasha for Ukraine.
Business-like approach, look at that, straight front, double tuck at the foot, out of the area for a 10th away. Strong tumbling, pull him back out, piked. Just a little bit uncertain on the landing of the second of those two jumps. It's important that the combinations are square, well connected, fully round. Nice clean tumble line there. Nicely done. Impression, working well within herself, good steady performance required. Ball twisting double tuck, complete. A very careful floor exercise, but very well presented.
Ukraine in 5th place. Disappointing opening score for them was 8.975.
Double front, worth the 10th, I think, because very impressive tumbling. She is twisting double tuck, and that was the completion of the routine.
.625 there, confirmed, as I told you, from Monica Rosu. Interesting, the Romanians are using all-around journalists, as it were. Rosu will compete on one other piece of apparatus, and 3 of their gymnasts will compete on 3, whereas the Americans opted for a specialist and got the fine score from Anya Hatch, but at the moment not good enough to give them the lead. She's done her piece, she won't take part any further, Hatch. By and large, though, Mitch, the choice of the coaches has been to go with the top scorer on that piece of apparatus in the qualifying competition.
Yes, it's important to use high scores when you can. 9.362 for Alona Gavashin, and to try and balance that brilliance with good, steady performances behind.
Alina Kozic, last to go on the floor, and she is doing all 4 pieces for Ukraine.
Another very good opening tumble, with a little better controlled. Classically elegant gymnast, but strong and powerful and very well able to land. Is the current European champion, and she looks every inch it here on the floor. Very controlled, very impressive performance. Straight front immediately into the double front somersault. So difficult to land, but she did it with such style. proves she can tumble backwards as well. 2.5 twists, and again, good control.
Coach is responding. See whether she's improved on her score from the qualifying competition. She was the 10th best. As far as the individual all-around, which will follow in 2 days' time. Qualifying competition, really qualifying for 3 different things. 9.65, she's certainly up on her performance in qualifying. And it's mattered most, she's found her best score. It's good for Ukraine, who totaled 27.987. And that's moved them into 4th place, but now the arrival of the Russians and the Australians. And the Russians have made a change from their printed choice of 3 that was handed in to the jury. This is Anna Pavlova. She was intended to compete the vault. But they were expecting to start with Ziganchina, who doesn't seem to be fit. This is Anna Pavlova from Russia.
Very strong opening vault. This is probably the Russian team's best piece of apparatus. They've vaulted very strongly and well. Very good technicians here. Block well off the top of the platform. Twists very efficiently. Absolutely straight line. This vault marked out of 9.8, so that's the maximum she can score.
Just confirm your observation, Christine. They were just 2nd best to Romania in the vault qualifying. .425, useful opener.
Zamolodchikova. Oh, well, it says something when you can use your Olympic champion on this apparatus and put her up 2nd. Wonderful power from the platform. Spins round in the double twist and plonks it down with no trouble at all. Very efficiently done. A little bit loose-legged, but when you're the Olympic champion, you have that style, you have that confidence.
3-2 was scheduled to go, but scheduled to be 3rd up. And it's interesting that having made the choice, the new, if that's the right word for her, you'll see her in the reason why I'm saying that in quotes in a minute, 9.525 for Zamolodchikova. Those are the legs of Svetlana Korkina, who was intended to perform only on the beam, a bit of a surprise, but thinking in terms of the all-around competition, now she's in the heart of the team competition on the vault.
And a very difficult vault. Has to be precise, and she is. Delighted to see her land that so well. Here, it's a complicated vault. Half turns on, tuck front somersault with 1.5 twist in it. Little rebound on landing.
This is Alana Slater for Australia, leader of their team that took the bronze medal in the World Championships last year.
Stabilises and settles down the team. She's very experienced. Beautiful start. Twist. Snatches that, but every time she looks as if she's left it too late. Such grace, such confidence. Set that up nicely. Lovely contrast in the music. Matches it with the choreography. Exhalation of breath into the final tumble. Double pike, tiniest of errors. Confident. Lovely floor exercise from Alana Slater. The team applauding it, and quite rightly so. There's a lovely combination of grace and power. It's the triple twist opener. Use of arms to accelerate the spin halfway through. Bringing all of her experience to bear.
.375 only for Kokina, which means that Russia are third after the first rotation of competition. 28.325. So the team to advance might be said to be the United States, who moved up from third position to second on this piece of apparatus compared with the qualifying competition. Good stuff from Slater. Now Stephanie Morehouse replaces her on the floor.
Very well flighted, the 2.5 twist into the straight front somersault. Triple twist, very, very clean. Very important jump series, cleanly round. That gets her a few extra bonus points. Strong double pike. Very well choreographed, well put together routine. Clean tumbling. This the opening. She does 2.5 twists, rebounds into the straight front somersault. She twists very efficiently, and this was the last tumble. A little bit of a deduction here, quite a big step forwards.
A 17-year-old from Melbourne, likely to be among the favourites, one would think, for the next Commonwealth Games title, which will be held there. Certainly a contender. 9.037 though would disappoint her here. The idea, as we saw in the men's competitions, is to try to build the scores. In theory, your third gymnast is the best. So the defending Olympic champions lead, United States second, Russia third, China fourth. So no one from the bottom half encroaching on the top half. Now comes the test for Romania. coming to their weakest piece, Christine, the Romanians, because they move to the asymmetric bars, and indeed all the top four.
Yes, this was the piece that Romania struggled with in the qualifying competition. I think they were probably top team on everything else, and they're fairly renowned for not being so confident on the asymmetric bars. But I think we probably start here with the USA.
Do indeed, with Carly Patterson, and the Americans were top team, to use your expression, on this piece of apparatus in that qualifying competition. Second, Carly Patterson is first up. America's hope for the all-around championship, and their leader to try to claim title that they won in Atlanta in 1996.
All the team are very comfortable and confident on the asymmetric bars. You see a lift high above the high bar. Stolder with full turn, Giant with full turn, just shuffles a little bit along the bar, the 1.5 turn into the Kachev, linking all these skills so well. Just a little bit flat here. She's having to use strength and power now. That will be very costly. And just caught the low bar on the downswing. That puts a lot of pressure on the rest of the team. It only appeared a little error, but it will be quite heavily deducted.
American crowd trying to influence, reacting well to her performance, but the weakness there was clear.
Yes, she wasn't quite settled. She travelled along the bar rather a long way. The Kachev was good here, and she goes straight into the pack somersault, and she didn't have very much swing. She came in too close to the low bar. But she recovered very well. She lifted the dismount high, feet down strongly.
Confirming that the other team currently performing, French, who are on the vault. Quite a long wait before Patterson's score. Very important score, Mitch.
Absolutely vital. It's hoped that you build gradually. That's the point of making all the way through the competition so far. And if you're down, then the pressure's on your teammates.
9.287. Well, they would have hoped for better. This is Terrin Humphrey from Blue Spring, Missouri. She's appearing on two pieces of apparatus, this and the beam, which will follow. 9.625 she scored in the qualifying competition. They need that sort of score now, the Americans.
Clean lead to and from handstand. Nice shuffle sneak of her to the top bar after the tiny Russian 2 decades ago. Clean so far. Hitting the handstands. Hitting the release. Turn along the bar, slightly bent arms, hit the handstand again on the transfer. So she's absorbed the pressure well. A double layout, that is a super job. Exactly what was needed.
Plenty of stars and stripes being waved in what is a much bigger crowd, but by no means full yet again.
Lovely shape displayed there. Very disciplined, legs tight together. Finding the handstand at every opportunity. And that's how you dream about finishing.
Well, the Americans may feel that's worth the price of a ticket, but some of the tickets were selling at half price. On our way in, plenty of scalpers around. €200 ticket being sold for 100, but 200 seems a lot to pay for one evening session. Bars always seem to take a little bit longer to mark.
Yes, well, this is only their second gymnast, remember. This is the first piece, the first team of gymnasts that they've got on this piece of apparatus, so they're still feeling their way, the judges. And it'll be a different panel. They didn't judge the vault or the floor.
Candy Patterson looking a little bit down there and looking at the little pat, cheer up. She hasn't started in the sort of form she was hoping for. 9.575. Not quite as good as 48 hours ago. Giving better hopes for Courtney Kupets, who was the top scorer for the Americans. Needs to repeat it, preferably better it.
Well, that certainly was a better combination than she performed in the qualifier. Very strong work. Good combination. Cleanly round the straddle. The hop full turn into the huge Kachev. She was so high above that bar. Builds up, good swings, good twist, very, very good dismount.
Gymnast who was applauding there, the unlucky Courtney McCool, who's been left out of the team as far as competing is concerned.
See, that is the huge Kachev. It's named after the man gymnast who first competed it. That's the double back with the full twist. She performs that so cleanly.
More rotations till we come out to beat, okay?
From all around the States, the American team. She's from Gaithersburg in Maryland. French score there on the vault. Smiles back on the faces of the American team. Coach Kelly Hill in the background, and 9.662. Well, they've set a target. Might have been a little more if Carly Patterson had been more up to her usual form. And they will be immediately replaced on the apparatus by the Romanians. And Ukraine arrive for the vault. Any pointers so far, Mitch?
Well, it looks very much that the USA are able to focus and ignore any mistakes that occur. I mean, they just showed there that they weren't phased at all by a slightly substandard, it has to be said, opening exercise, and that augurs very interestingly for the rest of the competition.
First on the vault for Ukraine, Alina Kozic.
One and a half twists, very nicely done. Total control of that vault.
And Romania immediately onto the bars with Oana Ban.
And straight up into the handstand. 1.5 pirouette. Another full pirouette into the Jaeger somersault, good and high. She's working hard, hitting those handstands well. Slight loss of leg form. But she's really going for everything. The full pirouette. Another Kachev, not nearly so high, but very efficient. The giant swings that speed you up into the dismount. Full twisting double back. Very good opener for Romania.
I have to say, I like the way she approached that. There was real determination in the eyes. She went for it.
Well, that's a hallmark of Romania. They are gritty, determined. never seemed to be phased by anything at all. There we are, the Jaeger somersault, the front somersault to recatch the bar. She builds plenty of swing, full twist in the double back. Work done.
But the head coach, Octavian Bellou, is on record as saying he doesn't like what's now required on the bars. Just check on Kozic, 9.362. Ukraine.
I guess it would be a good thing, though, for the Romanians to work hard and improve on this piece, because really, if they did, they would dominate the world.
Points the question, why the problem? Crowd don't like that score. It's less than Carly Patterson. Comment?
Well, it was untidy, a little bit untidy, a bit short on the swing and a bit lower on start value.
Start value, in fact, only 9.7. So in spite of her disappointment, Patterson scoring better than her direct opposite number. This is Monica Rusu, second for Romania.
Emphasise the handstand at the start, and again, a little bit flat on the Ginger. Nice in the spin, again. Finding a way around that bar, no extra hand movement so far. But not the explosion from low to high bar, as some we've seen. But playing it very, very safe. As I say that, she puts in a double twist and a double tuck.
The expression is ever been had.
Have a closer look at that. I may have credited her with an extra twist, but it looked so frantic. So much going on. There we are. There's a slightly flat there in the Ginger. Full twist along the top of the bar. Yep, only one twist, but it looks so busy.
They certainly haven't lacked determination, but not yet finding the style. Ukraine currently in second place. Good score. Certainly improvement on the vault compared with the floor.
Interesting point about the bars, Chris. We're talking about specialists early on, and the Romanians, you say, would be reluctant to import any specialist knowledge on their weakest apparatus.
Well, they haven't done so far, and they really are so excellent on the other pieces.
9.387, so they're definitely down two gymnasts now on this second piece of apparatus compared with the United States. Looking again to Nicoletta Daniela Sofroni to find that little extra. Need to be actually a lot extra. Put them in ahead.
Much crisper, though, and much more flight immediately. There we are, Stalder's 1.5 pirouette into that Jaeger. She swings with much more freedom and style. Good straight arms, which is what you want to see. And interesting combination there, the pack salto with the extra half turn. Still fluent and swingy, that's what you want right till the end. Mustn't look a struggle. Full twisting double back, nothing there looked a struggle.
Certainly not the flamboyance, for example, of Milosevic from the past.
No, the asymmetric bar work has moved on a lot. It's the one piece that's changed quite a bit over the last 10 years or so. The release and catches are high above the bar, much more like the men's high bar work now. But she swings very well, this gymnast. She's qualified for the bar final, and she's the only Romanian to have done so.
So that's a point worth making, that it was on the parallel bars that Romania, then in front, couldn't get it quite right in the men's competition, and then it went further wrong on the high bar. Waiting for the last score. Ukraine currently in second place, and they've now been overtaken by Romania, 56.573 after 9.562 from Sofroni. But the Americans have the advantage. Halfway point. Still the Russians and the Chinese to come, though. Australia go to the vault. Interesting to see who the Russians will use here. Caused a bit of a surprise when the name Korkina was not included on the bars. And they're going to start with Natalia Ziganchina. Coached by Viktor Garichenko. I was going back into the past a little bit with Milosevic. You can go even further back when talking in terms of him. Elena Shushinova, the victor in 1988 in Seoul. He coached her.
Ziganchina, that same strong type of performer. Difficult combinations there into a good high ginger. And now the interesting Kachev with full twist, but she caught her foot. Same fault as in the qualifier, actually. Very smoothly into the next series. Just a couple of pauses there. Although you want to hit your handstand, you don't want to stay in handstand too long. Up into the dismount, double twisting, a single twisting, double tuck. Catching that from Mitch there.
Just a moment then when she seemed to be a spectator watching her own routine.
Yes, that's right. She hit the handstand as she went to the low bar. You couldn't see from that angle, but she did catch her foot. And then she did a back sole circle, almost went too far. This was the full twisting, double back. Little bit untidy. And there's Viktor Gavrichenko with her. Has done a lot of coaching in Great Britain, inspired a lot of coaches along the way.
And now back obviously working in his own country. Svetlana Korkina waits, the queen, on the asymmetric bars. Well, there was a story that went round that this lady was carrying an injury, and this is why Korkina suddenly was going to be more employed, but it's clear a few games have been played. Not for the first time, Mr. Fenner.
Yes, your memory goes back to Barcelona in 1992 when a substitution was made. In the end, the substitute took the all-round title, Tatiana Gutsu.
Of course, in this team case, they're perfectly entitled to name 6, and they can present any 3. So 9-0-5-0, so that's the weakest score on this apparatus. This is Lyudmila Eshova. She managed 9.475 here in qualification.
Scraped over that bottom bar, debatable whether she actually touched it. But not the same crisp lines that we've seen, and we'll see. A competitor likely to follow her. Again, slightly soggy in the back, but this is very efficient. Plenty of flight there, the half twist in the back somersault. Not forwards. heart-stopping, really. They're going to go in the other direction. But no problem. Double front somersault. And I don't think she fooled anyone with that little flourish at the end. She did take a pace, and there was a lack of control. But super efficient.
But they're going to need their superstar.
Certainly. And she's waiting in the rings. In the meantime, she's slightly late on that catch, and she doesn't have the crisp line in handstand that many of these gymnasts are demonstrating. But she got on with the job, and when you're number 2 and the first one hasn't scored that well, this is the sort of business-like job you need. A little early in the half turn, an attempt to disguise the landing.
Australia, pretty consistent marks, not improving between the two pieces as much as Ukraine had. .437. At the moment, looking pretty good for the United States, but it could all change. Svetlana Korkina just makes a habit of excelling on this piece of apparatus and has done so for 10 years. 1994, her first World Championship.
Very long and elegant. Very unusual, the catcher from the Stolder. Ooh, she had to work hard to pull it there. And controls that well. It's good to see her working hard and controlling the routine. Swinging now very smoothly. The renowned dismount. Full twisting double back, just the pace on the landing. Not quite as crisp as in qualifying, but certainly very, very good. Half turn at the beginning into the Stolder and Kachev. That's such a difficult skill, and she makes it look so easy. This was the Stolder with full turn, and she winds up into the dismount, kicks across the bar in the giant, puts the twist in so efficiently.
And in the end, it all appeared to be rather matter of fact. And in the past, she's looked rather more relaxed than she's been looking here. Russia in 3rd place after the first rotation, waiting to see where they're going to end at the end of the second. .965, well, she scored higher in the past. But they're still in 3rd place, Russia. A total on that apparatus, 28.137. So the order is United States, Romania, Russia, China, the next to perform, again on the bars. The expressions are a little serious. Korkina at the moment, don't wish to be rude, but she looks a little gaunt. She's probably coming in at her lightest weight for many a day.
Brings with it, though, that light touch that is so important and so evident on beam and floor. But you're right, Barry, she does look just a little bit below top form.
One departs, one is ready. Li Ya, we can expect to see some exciting stuff here on the bars from the Chinese. But will it be good enough to make inroads on the top 3?
Well, it's so light, so exciting, their work. The turn into the invert, the endo in invert into full turn. But she's slightly off direction and she had to put an extra swing in there to control it. And really has missed a big series out in the middle there. This is so typical of the Chinese gymnast. Absolutely beautiful, but prone to error. There we are, the full turn. And the Jaeger somersault in there. Huge somersault above the bar. And the dismount, just a step on the landing, but that free swing in the middle will be penalised at least at 0.3.
And a little less than 0.3 is the difference between their place and that of Romania, China.
So she made the full pirouette into the Jaeger. This was the later series. And there the dismount pikes it quite heavily, the half in to the pike front with a half out.
Position relative to Romania, of course, after they both completed the same number of pieces of apparatus. Still 2 to go for the Chinese on the bars. They have been far more relaxed than their male team. Fan Yi should be next, but quite a long time. Discussion about what was missed.
Should we think of that combination later on, Christine? Would she get the start value back for that?
She probably will get the start value, but the free swing, they have to decide whether it was just an empty swing or a fall on the apparatus, really. They can penalise it from 0.3 to 0.5, and they have to make that decision.
Year-old in the team. It's quite a young side. They've got no really experienced members. 3 at 18, 1 17, 2 16. So you'd think half an eye on 4 years' time in Beijing.
Well, to the last minute for selection, really, and they had 12 gymnasts with them before they made the final choice. So it's a sign once again of strength and depth. They have been known, you know, to produce world champions that haven't been seen again, never made the team.
9.45 is a pretty useful opening compared with the starters for the other countries. Now, Fan Yi. She's one of the 17-year-olds, counted on 3 pieces of apparatus in the qualification.
Such precision and confidence. The flourish and the height. This is lovely. You're being super critical. She didn't hold a couple of handstands quite enough and held that one for slightly too long. But the work is just technically quite brilliant throughout the Chinese team. Full twist and a double tuck, and she pulled the feet over the top. Didn't open the shoulder angle and bounced off the bar, but got up as if it was an everyday occurrence. Must have steel shins. Lovely in the release. Flighted between the 2 bars beautifully. You need to pull that shoulder angle out. She didn't. And didn't get the clearance, and the coach missed in the slips.
Just a check on her health by the head coach. Certainly crack on the shins and also her head, which landed pretty soon after the feet.
To be thankful that the feet did hit first.
It's just amazing how gymnasts who've performed those skills so many thousands of times will, under pressure, just pull in on that bar.
Those toes are hurting.
Nelly Kim, second from the left as we look. Great Russian gymnast of the 70s. In the team with, I was going to say with Olga Korbut, who gets all the publicity, and understandably, but Kim was a fine gymnast, as indeed was Teresheva, who was the all-around champion in 1972 when Korbut, to quote one television executive, sold the sport of gymnastics to a television audience. 8.537 only. That's very disappointing and very costly for the Chinese. Still with a little smile. Actually, that television executive I was talking about, I shan't name him, thought that he played a major part in it.
Well, the third gymnast up for China, and so far they haven't had a clean routine. Full pirouette, the Healy pirouette into the straddle over the bar. Swinging very aggressively and very strongly. Huge somersault to recatch. Really looks very determined here. A little bit of a stall on the upstart. Times that dismount very well.
I don't think they're going to break into the top three, though, at this stage.
No, I don't think so. She was determined to give a good performance, though. And with the dismount, she certainly didn't pull it in close. She went for length and a bit of lack of control as well. But those two somersault links, so impressive. There we are. She made sure she was well away from the bar. She was happy to have completed relatively well.
So we've reached the halfway point. We wait for the last score. It's extraordinary, the difference between male and female attitude. I don't know whether that's reflected across the board, but certainly in gymnastics, it's so marked, it's unbelievable.
They shine when they smile. They're enjoying the whole thing.
9.562. So at the moment, they are actually down in 5th place, China. Ukraine have moved into the top 4. The United States lead, Romania 2nd, Russia 3rd. But as you can see, it's all pretty tight. Go from here to the beam, where the Chinese can be quite exquisite, where the Romanians were the best, and the United States the second best in qualification. I think it's the Romanians who will go first, with Ukraine moving to the bars. So they've broken into the top 4, they've split the arrangements, as it were. No time to waste, on we go. Oana Ban for Romania.
Now, this is the apparatus the Romanian team are renowned for. And that's why absolutely no nonsense into a huge opening tumble. But she changed her mind on that one. I'm sure that should have been linked. She played for safety. This time the front somersault, and it does link into the flip and layout. Just a tiny bit of loss of tension on the full spin. It's one of their compulsory elements. Great lift on the leaps, and just such confidence on the back flips and the somersaults. Little pause, concentration, spots the beam, 2 backflips into the double back. Just that one series that she hesitated on, that possibly lose her 0.1 on the start value, but very efficient work. There, the front somersault, tiny hesitation. Now the judges have to decide whether that hesitation broke the series. This one there was no doubt about. The gainer flip into back flip and double back off.
And if they do decide that, Christy?
That series is worth 0.3, and if they decide it was broken, she'd get 0.1 bonus for the front summy and nothing else.
Well, she scored 9.625 in qualifying, and that was the weakest of 3 excellent scores. But the Americans have an advantage of just 0.338, and they did not go well on the floor, which would be the last apparatus for all the leading teams. Except, I suppose I've now got to say, for Ukraine, who have got themselves into 4th place. There are Ukraine on the bars. Alina Kozic. A second to go after a score of 9.5 from Irina Yarotska.
Such clearance over that lower bar. And this gymnast, although she's not particularly tall, has a lovely elegance about her work. Has a time and a pace which is very pleasurable to watch. Just a little dip in the handstand shape there, but connecting the Kachev to the back somersault and back onto the high bar there. Kozic. Twist in the double tuck, a nice solid landing. Ukraine getting better as the competition goes on. Good body line there. Times the shapes perfectly to create the skills that follow them. Half a somersault, half a twist in the first somersault and half in the second to make a full twisting double tuck back.
9.512 starting score for Romania on the beam. And they've had a clean second performance as Alina Kozic walks away.
9.512.
Curiously, precisely the same score as Ban. But Ukraine going well. They were 6th in Sydney, so this already is a big improvement for them. Catalina Ponor will be the 3rd to go. And the second score achieved by Romania, 9.687.
Catalina Ponor, she was outstanding in qualifying, but that was a little hesitation already. No hesitation there. 4 very difficult elements all linked together. Full twisting back flip linked to the change leg split sleep. Free walkover. Straight into the flip layout. That's her second big combination. When you have big combinations like that, you don't have to do too much work, but she's so versatile. She's showing her ability to balance and move confidently along the beam. This really has been a fantastic performance. Can she finish it off? Full twisting double back, she can. Not the slightest waver of doubt in her mind. There, backflip, then a backflip with one arm, and then a layout somersault. And that was all preceded by a half-turning flip. There, the round-off, full twisting double back. One of the very few gymnasts this competition to include that as a dismount.
"10 centimeters wide, 5 meters long." That's what they're working on. And they made it look as they were on a full floor and it was just a white line they were trying to keep on. And that could be the key to the title being retained. 9.762. They've had 3 very, very good scores. And the Americans will have to work extremely hard and better than they've shown before if they are to keep the lead at the end of this third round. Dip on the parallel bars, made up for on the beam. Ukraine currently in second place behind Romania. It's the Russians and the Australians who will take the floor next, and there already is Ludmila Eshova.
With a very attractive mount, free walkover. There we are, the half-turning flip into the free walkover, into the side summy. 3 elements linked, not a waver or a step between. And that is very unusual. 1.5 turning jump. Just slots it in as though it's no problem at all. Just a little hesitation on that series. And she would have liked the links there to be a little smoother. A great splits position. Watch this carefully. Half turn, another half turn down to the beam. Links 2 relatively simple jumps. That's another of the special requirements out of the way. Good twisting dismount, some amazing work in the middle there, but that series that she would have liked to have linked will probably keep her out of the real top scores. Just stopped before the next one. I'm sure the aim was to link them without the pause, but this is very original. The round off onto the end of the beam. Just a double twist, relatively simple dismount.
It's 1.25 meters off the feet level. And Korkina, who originally was down there to do this piece of apparatus, will replace Eshova. Seems pleased. quite the tension of the men's team final, but it might still come at the conclusion. It would depend on the United States, I think, doing better on the beam than previously shown. 9.437 is an opening score. Americans, incidentally, the last to come to the beam. And here's Anna Pavlova, second for Russia.
Nice control in the lift. Turn and split. Lovely free walkover into a side somersault, nicely linked, but dipping there in the handstand. Just a little lack of confidence at the end of the opening series there. Nice full twisting flick layout, but she's got it back now. Has to join those leaps. Full twist in the Corvette flick. Barry was saying earlier. Incredible to think that's 32 years ago, but still a skill that they're all doing. Half turn there into the walkover, beautifully done. And an extra twist from her, that's the triple twist. Anna Pavlova doing a good job there. Up number 2 on a crucial apparatus. Floating beautifully through that combination. And there you see the leg dipping just a bit. Sureness of foot and hand. Three twists, well, not quite, but impressive all the same.
And the smile breaks through. 16-year-old is coached by her mother. .637. Job well done. Now the test is for the long legs of Korkina.
And this the piece that she sometimes seems to lack confidence on. No lack of confidence on that mount, though. Or on that opening series. Just the merest hesitation. Didn't recover the arms quite strongly enough. Good control through the jump series. She's beautifully fluent and elegant. And performed that very well. Showing great suppleness as well. Now the unusual dismount, the gainer, 2.5 twists, and much better performance than we saw earlier this week.
Finally we see the real Korkina smile. Delightful, delightful performance. I'm sort of fascinated by her arms, let alone what she's doing with her feet.
There we go, that's that series. Flip, layout into full twisting Corbett flip. This unusual dismount kicks the leg up to initiate the twist, 2.5 twists.
Should be hoping to repeat that in the all-around competition. It's the position for Australia, currently in 3rd place. But China, the United States, Spain and France still to compete in this 3rd rotation. How good is it going to be for Kokina? Not as good as she would wish, 9.437. And the crowd don't like that score. They come in behind Romania with their highest total of the 3 pieces of apparatus. Yes, it is true. It would be nice to see a greater involvement of the crowd. Now the Chinese will come to the beam and dance on it.
Yes, the team so capable of exquisite work on this apparatus, but as we saw on the asymmetric bars, also so capable of losing concentration.
Yang Nan, who will start for them, they had a wipeout on this apparatus. Chung Fai came off during the qualification. That would be the end of it for them if any of their gymnasts do so here.
Well, she did very well, because if you watch that mount, only half of a leading foot went on. That's a beautiful jump, just brought the shoulders down a little too far. It's better, she's moving a little more now. The judges like to see good rhythm, not too many long stops. That's the sort of easy, light work. The free walkover immediately into the back tumbling series. She's working well now. Change leg to ring. The head has to go right back now. You heard the whistle. That means she's got 10 seconds to dismount. Mustn't allow herself to be rushed. She doesn't. Very good double tuck to finish.
Spanish on the asymmetric bars. Tania Jenner for them.
Very useful team, the Spanish. Soundly prepared, very crisp, businesslike in all their work. Anticipated the starter there. Plenty of height between the bars. Winding up. Very nice dismount. Light touch, confident swinging. Typical of the style of the attack of the Spanish team.
Justifying their qualification position there, where they started in a way in 7th. Slight bent arms there, Mitch.
Slight bent arms, but it followed a superb combination, and that was the price she paid. It's a small one, really. Good dismount, lovely routine.
9.587 was the starting score for the Chinese. Five. Laying going back to the beam. I can tell you why. It's because Chinese who's currently on it has come off it and got back on. So that could be very costly for the Chinese. Every gymnast's performance scoring. One bad showing can be good night. Some sympathetic applause for those who were watching. Sorry that we're not in control of where the cameras were, and the opportunity to cut from one to the other was frankly missed while we were waiting for a score. Just a little nod. Quite a lot now required. Still waiting for the second score. How costly was the fall in qualification and now in the competition? The Chinese, who can be brilliant on the beam, have made the error of not staying on it. She did well enough. 8.3 is the score given to Li Ya. So Fan Yi, well, she won't be able to do enough, but it has to be her very best just to keep them on the edge of affairs. But any thought of going to the top of the tree surely come to an end.
Very slight, supple gymnast. Beautiful hands and arms. That popular series, the change leg split sleep into the tuck jump with full turn. Strong front somersault. That jump that the Chinese have made their trademark. Take the head right back off the beam. And another one, this time in the split position. Here we go, free walkover and a pause. That definitely won't have the series she wants. Just about given the tuck back into the core, but flip. The jumps and performance so elegant and beautiful, but really lacking the big difficulty we've seen from some of the other gymnasts. And deep landing on the dismount. There, the front summer, she landed it well. And that beautiful jump, feet right up. Very precise round off, very good technique, but you can see quite deep here.
Spanish total after the 3 of the 4 pieces. And the question is, how far down are China going to slip? They've slipped out of contention for medals. Maybe an opportunity for a European rise as the East, one of the challenges from the East, slips away. Currently Romania from Russia, from Ukraine. Chinese score yet to come, and the Americans waiting to perform. I wonder whether we're going to see Mohina Bajwa. Here's the gymnast scheduled to start. The other one we were looking at was Terrin Humphrey. It certainly looks as though we're going to see Bajwa. Carly Patterson, who was the first up on 2 pieces, expected now to be the 3rd. They look a little disconsolate though, the team from China. It has gone, Mitch, hasn't it?
Yes, I just wonder, Barry, if this could be the first Olympics in my memory where China go back without a team medal, either for the men or the women.
Just 9.337. And they're down in 5th place. Roars of approval for the mention of the United States of America. And they're looking here on the beam for an average of 9.541 from their 3 gymnasts in order to be first going into the last piece.
And watch this mount. She goes 1, 2, 3 times, spinning in that crouch position. And now watch this acrobatic skill. Half turn into front summy, the Arabian somersault, completely blind on the landing. Full twisting flip, ordinary flip, layout somersault, only just had room. Very positive with the arm lift out of each skill. Just a little short on the balance there, would have liked to hold it a fraction longer. Strong and positive. And on the dismount, strong and positive. Well, she's really given them a very good start.
Courtney McCall leading the applause. The non-performing member of the team this evening. That's an excellent start, but they need 2 more, at least as good and preferably better.
Yes, that was very cool under pressure. They obviously decided that Carly Patterson was feeling the pressure. She hadn't given them a great start on the first 2 apparatus. Make a little change here, but that's a wonderful series. Full twisting backflip, an ordinary backflip, and then the layout somersault. Tumbles into the dismount as well. Lots of power up into the double back.
Well, a good coaching decision made, not easy.
No, but as we've seen throughout this championship, your lead-off person is very important. Gives the team confidence.
Romania managed to put together a 9.512, and it just moved up from there. 9.487. So a little bit short, but something to build on. It's Cardi Patterson to go in second place. I would have thought the pressure is very little different. May well even be greater.
I was just about to say that number 2, all of the orders important, of course, when 3 and 3 to go, but number 2, absolutely crucial. Building on the first performance and setting up the last. Huge responsibility. And going well. Super. Plenty of height and confidence. Look at that leap, head back. But just a little shoulder adjustment to bring it under control here. But that, the first noticeable error. So another, the great Olga Korbut, standing tuck back. Caused such controversy all those years ago, and look where it's gone since. Now then, round off backflip, double Arabian. Well, Carly Patterson, you have come through very well indeed for your team.
We're of course the leaders at the halfway stage, but knew when they came to this apparatus last how well the Romanians had done. And you had to glance up at the scoreboard.
Nice front somersault. This was where the shoulder dipped. But this, sensational. Double front somersault, half turn into it. Powerful and confident. And just what is needed.
.612. Listen to the reaction from the Americans in the crowd. And the crowd more animated this evening. We have a crowd at the end where we've been watching the beam for the first time. And this is now an interesting decision. Mohini Bajwa is the third to go. We saw her practicing. 25-year-old. Counted on this piece of apparatus during the qualification competition.
Strong, difficult jump to open with. Complex series. Very aggressive in her performance. Packing the difficulty in. Stamps the landing out. Just hesitates on the link. No hesitation there. Never a superfluous arm movement, everything choreographed, everything strong. Can she make the dismount? So, double tuck, she can. Not an extra step, not a waver.
Well, they've risen to the challenge. The changes in the team. Patterson going second rather than first. Bajwa coming in. Kupitz left on the side.
There, the one-arm flip into the two layout somersaults. She's very strong mentally. She really didn't waver, did she? You can see how narrow that is. She was a bit off direction as she planted her feet at the end of the round off.
Well, they're 9.524 behind the Romanians. So clearly it all depends on this one score. But they're going to go into the floor routine, whether they're ahead or whether they're just behind, with confidence. The floor was not their best in qualification, but it's how they're feeling now that's going to count.
Yes, I didn't count it up exactly, but she definitely hesitated after that front somersault. I wonder whether she got all her start value. We'll have to keep our eye on the score board, where they flash the start value up as well as the score.
Out they go into the warm-up area. 3 of the 4 rotations. 9.4 out of a 9.7 start value. The crowd don't like the score, but they may well not have seen what the start value. Fair, Christine?
Well, yes, the judges gave the start value. She had more, 0.3 of deductions.
So, Romania, United States, Russia in the medal positions, Ukraine just outside. The Spanish have moved up to 5th, the Chinese down to 6th after very disappointing performances on the beam. It's all going to come down to how well they go on the floor, but the advantage is definitely with Romania. It'll be Russia to go first on the floor. It's Anna Pavlova waiting. Leaving a footprint as she goes. Scored 9.4 in qualifying, but again there's a change in the Russian order. Russians in the bronze medal position.
Good, strong opening tumble. Very elegant gymnast. Whip into triple twist. But she fell out of that triple spin, didn't quite complete it. Very elegant, the split leg on the front somersault. Now this is her fourth tumble. Very clean, double pike back somersault. Very classical and elegant routine, but I think she might have suffered from some of the spins and jumps in the middle. Here she opens with full twist into the double back somersault. She covers her landings very well. She keeps her legs together. Here the 2.5 twist, and she splits her legs in the front somersault and recovers that landing very well.
All the way through, interaction with the audience and the camera. 9.275 for Anna Pavlova. Crowd don't like it. 9.8 was the start value.
There is Elena Zamolodchikova.
Look at the power. Double straight. Very disciplined shape all the way through it. Barely sprinting across that floor. Beautifully round. The full twisting tuck jump. Just fell out a little. Just to keep absolute control. It's easy to get bamboozled by the superb tumbling, but there's a lot more to presenting a floor exercise than that. More power coming up. Whip over into triple twist, willing those shoulders round. Beautiful double pike. Well, that very impressive floor augurs very well for their performance.
Living out to her billing, she won the apparatus final floor 4 years ago in Sydney. And she really does make use of music as well as the other abilities.
Yeah, we said it's easy to be impressed with the tumbling, but everything else was there as well. Presented. And she really did put it all together. Seal it with excellent tumbling.
The advantage over Ukraine for Russia is .688. They will have Korkina to go last. And 9.387, the score for Zamolodchikova. Out of 9.8. Well, if they're going to be harsh, as long as they're harsh on everybody, that's okay. Hasn't turned out to be the quiet evening that Korkina may have thought she was going to get.
She'll want to be at her best here as well. Covers the little hesitation on landing so well. Now that triple spin will be counted. Must get the technique right on these tumbles. Whip over into triple twist, beautiful. smiling, keep concentrating. Double pike somersault, she does.
That's the best we've seen of Svetlana Korkina in this Olympic Games. The crowd loved it and she loved them and absolutely milked them to produce a real performance.
It was almost as soon as she landed that middle tumble of whip into triple twist, the whole demeanour changed. She became a different performer. That's the first tumble, 2.5 into full twisting, tuck front. Determination. This is for the dismount.
What have they given her? They've given her a 9.6, which in the current climate of how they're scoring is a very good score indeed.
Yes, they've given her a 10 start value. They counted all her spins, all her jumps.
And Russia have 113.235 for the others to try to pass. And she's asking the crowd for applause for her team. And the old coach Boris Pilkin, who's seen Svetlana rise to the preeminence that she still has and which may be crowned in the all-around competition. And it was so good to see that performance. Australia currently in second place, having completed their routines. But now we are going to have a look at the Spanish on the beam. Monica Mesales.
One arm flick into layout somersault. The Spanish are doing a business-like job all the way through, getting on with it and quietly impressing. Difficult jump, took her time over it. Side somersaults are so popular. Needs an awful lot of awareness. Eyeing the end of the beam for the dismount sequence. 2.5 twists. Good exercise.
Well, they'd moved up to fourth at the end of the last rotation, with China dropping down, just to see whether they can hold that.
Yes, they have been doing a spectacular job, a solid job all the way through, and that's the way you can creep up quietly the rankings. 2.5 twists to complete that beam routine.
When they came here, they were confident they would make the team final, but it was all a bit tight. They were among the last countries to go. Message to somebody.
Hello, Mum.
Nine, 3, 1, 2 for Monica Gonzalez seems pretty pleased with that. 3-4-6 is Sara Moro.
Strong layout. Big pause there. But a very confident series. Very well controlled full turning tuck jump. These gymnasts linking those skills so confidently. The free walkover with the leg held up into the next element. Just a little loss of tension in the middle as she landed. The Spanish gymnast, very elegant. Good line through the feet and ankles. Good lift, good double back. They had a terrible time in the qualifying on beam, but this is a much more secure performance from them.
Currently going better than the Chinese are on floor. They've had an 8.6 for their first gymnast.
See how early she spots the beam on that layout somersault mount. And here the backflip, she takes the head right back, sees the beam, and then up into that full twisting Corbett. We call that after Olga Corbett. Strong double back. All these gymnasts, such a high level of work.
Seem to be quite a chatty lot.
It's wonderful to see that flavour of enjoyment of the competition. Hard work, but at the same time, great spirit, camaraderie.
The competition at the moment in a slightly quiet phase. They're waiting for the United States to come to the floor and then the Romanians to come last. Another good score, 9.412. And looks like we're going to see the last Chinese on the floor, which is good. If she puts it all together, she is quite electrifying here. Here she is, Chung Fai. Ooh. Two scores under 9, 8.6, 8.7 in pieces. So they're definitely dropping out of it. So this can be viewed just to enjoy the skill. And if it works for her, the beauty of it.
Now we saw a very big first tumble in the qualifier. Will we again? Yes, double twisting, double back. Then just a single twist in the double pike. This is really very special work we're watching here. See all the other judges on the other pieces watching. great triple twist.
Ah, that's just a delight. Just a delight. It's a piece of music which has resonance away from this sport, in the sport of figure skating, used by John Carey when he won the gold medal in Innsbruck in 1976.
Quite the most outstanding performance I've seen for a lot of years, I would say, since Podkopaeva, really. Absolutely outstanding. Fabulous tumbling and fabulous performance and dance work to match the tumbling. Legs locked together.
With luck, we'll see it twice again. 9.662. That's not enough to repair the damage. They have slipped away, although this is currently in a higher position with others still to finish. And the Americans are back on the podium. Teams now staying in the arena who've completed the task to watch those who have been set the challenge by them. I mean it very kindly, but there's no doubt which is the Queen Bee here. And the Spanish have maintained a good performance, highlighted on the bars, but the applause is for the United States. It's the penultimate two countries take the floor. The French on the beam, the Americans on the floor, where they were only 5th best in the qualifying competition. This is Courtney Kupitz.
Huge double straight somersault. She has to concentrate on this. And she does. But that's so costly. She fell out of the spin and didn't complete the jump. Very strong tumbling, though. Beautiful lines on the double pike somersault. Now, the tumbling was great. So was the dance, but there was a series in the middle she didn't complete. It just depends whether she's got difficulty to spare or whether she needed that series.
Well, they need from their three gymnasts an average of 9.275 to go above Russia to the silver medal position.
Well, that's the double straight somersault, so high, so impressive. Very different routine from the one we saw before, but equally well sold. And certainly wise enough not to let it show on her face during performance that she'd made an error.
9.187. The start value only 9.6. It's asking a lot of the other two to go for the USA. Not only do they want to go past Russia, but they want to set a target for the Romanians, who will go last. Anxiety now, as well as encouragement.
Again, it's crucial, that number 2 position. Mohini Bardwar. Vastly experienced. Oh, that's great! Fabulous opening. She's fairly skipping across that floor now, oozing confidence. Important to stay square on those pirouettes. She may just have anticipated. Step out to bring it under control. Those jumps, leaps, spins, all crucial, as is this tumble. Double pike. Wow, she's done the job. Disappointment for the first floor. But she got out there, and that cracking opener.
So I'm impressed, Mitch, the way the youngest member of this team is always the first to help and congratulate McCool.
Yes, it's a wonderful spirit. Look at this, double layout. The angle, she was so steep and converted it very well into the front somersault. The double pike. The last tumble that we saw. Some of the choreography not absolutely brilliant, a few minor errors, but the overall impression was powerful. Very, very decisive in the way she approached the exercise.
Talking of overall impression, not perhaps easy for the Americans. 9.325 out of a 9.7 start value. Not that easy for the Americans when they had to follow performances by Kokina and then Chung Fai. So Carly Patterson, who's thought to be just that notch ahead of the others, favourite for the all-around title, now has to find something special.
Now that was much better, you see. Very cleanly round that double turning tuck jump. Full twisting double back. Straight back into another very difficult tumble, the double Arabian. Holds that in very well. Here is this the important tumble. Now that was much more like it. She not only nailed the tumbling, but she concentrated on the spins and jumps.
And she needs better than 9.313 to put the Americans back at the top of the pile.
Well, she's certainly given herself a very good chance. That was the first tumble. Half twist in the first somersault, half in the second. and sells the routine. The final tumble, she really does land well, doesn't she? No extra unnecessary steps.
It was a very controlled performance, wasn't it? Now the Russians waiting to see whether they've been passed or not. 9.662 they have. The Americans move in to first place. They are guaranteed at least a silver, but of course they want more. It could be denied by the team from Romania, but who now will have the eyes of everyone on them as they come to the floor. That is quite a lot of pressure to live with. They've suggested they're good enough to do so, but I think they feel like their men's team, that they've done their best, had a few downers, but it's been good enough, and if it proves to be good enough, for the best.
Yes, they've had just a very few minor errors, but they've really given it a good shot.
So now the Romanians, they're the Olympic champions. The title is there for retaining. Once denied the Americans in their own backyard in 1984, and there was the boycott, and the Americans thought they would sweep the board, but the Romanians came in and won the team title. Are they about to win it for the second games running?
Well, this is Sofrone, and she doesn't seem to have any doubts in that opening tumble. Oh, that's very complex. Triple twist from a whip back. Very focused. That's a very important series. So far, she seemed very sure-footed. This last bit, the strong backflip, the big somersault.
Pressure? What pressure?
I really think they completely believe in themselves. Doesn't seem to be even a waver in their minds, does there?
I'm not sure there's a great deal of hope in American minds either.
Here, the full twisting, double back. Quite happy to take the one step. The double back at the end. The same step.
Well, you can tell which team is under pressure at this moment.
And they can do nothing about it. 9.562. She served her country well, her team well, and she is #2 in the list of qualifiers for the all-around competition. Another title held by Romania on Sydney. I don't know whether they want to watch or not. Oanaban, second up.
Cracking opening once again. Double straight. Unbelievable acceleration. I'll tell you what, the crowd lifting her along, and she's reacting to every sound. pure dynamite. Superb double Arabian through the rafters. It's amazing she can control pirouettes in the jumps after all that explosive tumbling. Takes a breath. Whip over, 2 whip overs, 2 flicks, double pike, a little bit deep, but that was super, absolutely captivating.
A little bit deep. You're a hard man, Fenner. That was a cracking performance.
Certainly was, but for her, she'd know by the time she got to that stage, she put so much into it. That's very telling.
Courtney McCool, who tried to lift her team all the way through. And, another youngster with rather different feelings here in this barn.
Full twisting double. Typical of tumbling that was just scintillating. Double pike, she was tired at this stage, took it very heavily on the knees, a little bit short. That tells a story.
As does the calm way that the last to go just took off the tracksuit top and walked away to prepare ourselves. The Americans know that it's going to be second, although the mark here for Romania is not as good as one or two in the crowd would have liked it, 9.437. It would need an horrendous performance by the last to go, and there certainly won't be one from Catalina Ponor.
Made very, very sure of that first sequence. End of the tumble. Beautifully elegant gymnast. Brings her own grace and style to the floor routine. And the expected tumbling. This, the final tumble for the gold medal. And it must be theirs.
Not a moment's hesitation, not a moment of doubt. They've retained the title that they won in Sydney and will be crowned Olympic champions for the 3rd time. The American team applauding the victors, just as the American men also had to applaud the victors, and for both the story is the same. They were beaten by a better team. Romania unquestionably the best all-round team in the ladies' team competition. Even better this evening on the bars than they usually are, and they won the other 3.
Yes, interestingly, they...
.975 for Catalina Ponor. So they've gilded the lily a little. Wonderful score to finish. It's always nice to win. It's that little bit nicer when you can win in style.
Absolutely, and it's a completely new team since the last Olympics. They rebuilt after Sydney, and great credit to them.
Look at that for consistency. 28 across the board and 28.749 at the end. And they're likely to add to the medals that they get here. Individual competition to come. The Russians in third place, and I suspect they would have settled for that at the start of the evening. The Americans hoped for more, but knew that really they were behind on too many pieces of apparatus and on the floor too far behind. Russia third, 113.235. United States 113.584. Romania 114.283. That's confirmation of the States' statistics. And congratulations from runners-up to winners. Quite gracious in style. Each gymnast knows what amount of work has to be gone into to produce performances like this. The old cold mornings and the late evenings when schoolwork has to be done and all that. This is a moment to be shared. If you win a medal at Olympic level, it's the highest in the sport. Svetlana Kokina doing the rounds of congratulating everyone else. Who will be congratulating who when it comes to individual titles, we don't know. But congratulations this evening goes to the team of Romania, the winners, 114.283, the vital numbers.